talk about immunity, what is immunity? Immunity is nothing but a shield that your body has or creates rather for all the foreign bodies. It could be the viruses, bacteria, infection, anything which is a foreign body, which is not, which is going to kind of invade your body. The shield protects it. So how important is this immunity and how can you build it? Okay. Now, again, I'll just keep sharing examples to make this more clearer. So when I talk about the importance of immunity, I get questions like, ma'am, if our immunity is really good, is it possible that we'll never catch corona, so we should not wear a mask? No, if you come in contact with somebody who is COVID positive, even if your immunity is good, you may catch the virus. But the importance of immunity now is coming here, that what will happen? Either you will be asymptomatic, so you may not develop any symptoms. Two, even if you develop symptoms, what will happen is that you will start responding to the medicines given by your doctor. And third, your body will also start healing itself. So the whole process begins wherein the damage done to your body will be quite less. Also, if you know that there are after effects of corona, so where your lungs are damaged, your heart is damaged. So all this protection is given by high immunity. So if you have good immunity, then you don't need to worry about the after effects. Your body is going to fight it over and you're going to be healthy post the infection as well. Right? Now, how can you measure immunity? Like other blood tests, we have blood tests for sugars, we have blood tests for lipids, we have blood tests for vitamins as well. But can you really measure immunity? No, there is no blood test, unfortunately, for immunity. You can definitely measure your infection levels through CRP, etc. But when I talk about measuring an immunity, I always ask the clients, how much ill do you fall? So how often do you fall ill, basically? So when they tell me we don't fall ill very often, even if you fall ill, you kind of bounce back in 3-4 days. You respond to the home remedies, you respond to the medicinal therapy given to you, then your immunity is at its peak. But if you fall ill, even on a season change, you require medicines, you are on the bed for 6-7 days, then you really need to work on your immunity. So how to work on it? Let's start step by step, because it's not an overnight process. As I said, it is going to require a step-by-step approach. So the first step to building immunity is right eating. Now, right eating, there are a lot of concepts in the market, a lot of dietitians in the market, and concepts like keto diet, intermittent diet, soup and salad diet, raw food diet, so many diets in the market. And we all get confused because we are not experts, right, in every field. So we get confused what diet is right for us. To add to that, our friends, philosophers, WhatsApp messages, viral videos promote that. And your friends will say, oh, you know what? I've been drinking this ginger kadha every day and I've got an immunity. And some say, okay, drink 6-7 coconut water per day and you will be able to fight corona. And we all start doing that. Because now, just an example, if you have a lot of money, do you invest it anywhere at all by just seeing a WhatsApp video or a viral message or even listening to your friends? Don't we actually take a lot of feedbacks? Don't we actually do a research and then start doing an investment? Right? So similarly, our body is an investment, guys, and we cannot just keep experimenting anything at all that comes as viral messages or videos or any free stuff that is online. Because if you keep experimenting, your body is going to give up and it's just going to not be in sync with you. Okay. So please do the right investment. Think before you really implement anything. You don't go by what people say. Okay. Now, when I talk about this viral videos and all, there's another thing what I've noticed is very general. Okay. Whatever information passed out is very general. They do not take into consideration your lifestyle, your kind of disease conditions that you have, nothing at all. They absolutely focus on something. Okay, they have to promote something and they'll focus on that. So if you are suffering, like giving you an example, if you're suffering from diabetes, or if you're suffering from a heart problem, or if you're suffering from kidney diseases, okay, and kidney disease is a little sensitive, let's take that. And in that, if you start drinking simple as coconut water also, you will face issues with your kidney functioning because it's high on mineral count. And if your potassium or mineral count is high, you will start facing problems with that. So you understand the meaning when I say it's generalized. You just cannot adapt to it if you have any physical conditions, any medical conditions. Okay. So talking about that, when I say right eating, it has a lot of subtopics into it. So getting to the first subtopic of right eating, time of eating, very, very crucial. And trust me, guys, these are very simple points, but if you adapt to them, you are really going to have a healthy lifestyle. And this is my experience over 18 years now that we're following this basic steps to actually improve somebody's lifestyle. Okay, so when I say time of eating, have you seen our elders at home, whoever you have at home, your daddies, your nannies, okay, grandmothers basically, they, or grandfathers for that matter as well, they have a very good routine. Okay, they will wake up at a specific time, they will eat their breakfast as a specific time, their lunch is fixed, so is their dinner, and also they have early dinners. Now, this, when I was researching on them, because in olden days, we never had so many medical setups, or we didn't know about so many diseases as well. But still, they never thought a need for a dietitian, or they never needed anybody. They were quite fit that time also, and they're quite fit today also. What is the reason? The reason, simple reason is, first, they always adhere to the time of eating. Okay. So how can we, in our busy lifestyles, adhere to the same? What can we do? What simple things can we do so that we can also follow their footsteps and remain fit? First thing is, we can keep alarms. We all are very busy, I understand. Even if you're a housewife, you have a lot of calls to do. Even if you're a corporate, you have a lot of other meetings, abrupt plans that happen. If you keep alarms, basically from the starting of the day. So assuming you start your day with a morning alarm, post that your breakfast alarm, then your mid meals, if you have any mid meals, then your lunch, then your snack and your dinner. So if you have these basic alarms in place, it rings, and even if you're in a meeting or something, it vibrates, and you know exactly it's your time to eat. So it's going to really benefit in that way. Okay. Second, we must always pre-plan our days. Okay. So when I was young and going to college, and I was at my mom's place, I remember before going out, her first concern was, when are you going to be back, and are you going to have lunch? Or she would say, if you're going to be late, have your lunch and go. Why? Because we normally, don't plan our days, and then we have this haywire timings. We just have a heavy breakfast and we leave, and then we don't know what time we're going to be back. And eventually we skip our lunch, we skip our dinner. And because of that, we have a lot of side effects happening in our body. Okay. So please pre-plan your day. Even if you have a kitty party, you have a meeting, plan it such that you're not going to miss your main meals at least. Then we need to carry food. Now, this is a very funny thing, when I cater to clients, I cater to a lot of obese clients as well, and they're supposed to eat on time. So when I tell them, what happened this day, you didn't follow the diet plan and you just missed your meal. They say, ma'am, we were stuck up in the traffic. Or somebody will say, ma'am, it was my first week and I never knew what to eat and I just couldn't find anything. So nobody knows that you are on diet, one. Two, if you're doing it for your own self, please carry food. Okay, it's not very difficult to carry a fruit like an apple, some dry fruits in a pouch, and your lunch bag. Okay, if you feel that an elaborate lunch is too much for you, make a one dish meal, but please carry your food. Nobody's going to come and feed you. Eventually you will end up eating outside, which is again going to be junk. And also the timings are not going to be quite tight, how we want. So to keep yourself on the right timings of eating, keeping alarms, planning your day, and carrying your food are going to really help you in your busy lifestyles. Okay. Now, what is the effect on immunity? We would all like to know, right? Why should we eat on time? What's so special about it? The speciality is that your body is acidic if you don't eat on time. An alkaline body works on its optimum for immunity. Okay. So when I say acidic, have you ever tried being hungry for 4-5 hours and skipping meals? You will always get burps. You will feel bloated. You will have the heartburning sensation. These are all the signs that your body is acidic. Okay. An acidic medium, we will talk about it when I'm talking about foods as well, how to make your body alkaline. But just for you to understand, acidic body is a breeding ground for all these viruses, all these bacteria. They thrive very well in it. Even cancer cells, for that matter, they thrive very well in an acidic medium, and hence they grow faster. and they start invading your body, and you fall in the trap of any of the infections or diseases. Okay. Second, have you ever seen that when anybody is fasting, their energy levels drop. They don't do that optimum level of work as much as they would have done when they're eating food. So obviously, it's a simple thing. Food is a source of energy, and when you're eating food on time, it's going to provide enough energy for that particular period of time. So in our first building block, we've covered the first section, which is the time of eating. Let's go to the second section of the right eating, which is the right portion size. Now, when we talk about lockdown, okay, especially when I'm taking this example, is we're talking about immunity, and we need to know that, how to really combat this virus. Okay, so in lockdown, many of us have become home chefs, home bakers. We've cooked so much food and we've eaten so much food. The gyms were closed. We couldn't go down due to the lockdown, and we've not exercised enough. And what has been the result? We've eaten huge amount of things, and we've put on huge amount of weight and fat specifically. Okay, so these are all the lockdown effects that have happened to us. Now also, when there are some people who eat exclusively, so they eat in excess during one meal. So some people, when I take the diet recall, when clients come to me, they say, ma'am, we are not used to eating this too hourly, and we are just going to have our breakfast, lunch, dinner. I said, what do you eat for breakfast? And they tell me, we eat fruits, we drink a juice, we eat dry fruits, and we also eat some thing that's cooked like poha, upma, roti, paratha, all at one go. Why? Because we are very busy. One, we don't want to carry food. Two, we don't want to really take the pain to remember that we need to eat, right? So all this, what happens is our body is not used to. Now, we are not those kind of people how our grandmother and grandfathers were. Our lives are more sedentary. We are more on the laptops. We are more in our offices. We are more in the AC environment. We are not doing that physical work. We are sedentary. And because of this sedentary lifestyle, our body, whatever calories we are putting in, is not able to utilize. And anything that is not utilized in the body is stored as fat, whether it be carbohydrates, whether it be proteins, whether it be fruits, whatever is extra, body has a simple rule to store it as fat. Okay, so eating at one time in this lifestyle, the lifestyle that we are leading, the sedentary one, will not be a good idea, because we'll pile up that extra fat. And what will happen with that extra fat? I'll come to it. Okay. So as I said, extra calories are stored as fat. Now, how can we eat in right portions? Okay, as I gave you the tips for the right timing, I'm going to give you tips how can we eat in right portions. Now, your body has a signaling mechanism. Okay, so whenever you eat one roti, two rotis, and your stomach is full, you do get a signal from your stomach and your brain rather, but we do not follow that signal at all, just because we have a simple mechanism. If we like something, we eat it more. If we don't like it, we eat it less. Okay, and that's exactly that we are signaling to our body, and we keep eating if we like something, and we stop eating or stay hungry if we've not liked a particular food. Okay, second is, what you can do is, once you listen to your body signals, stop. Okay, second, what you can do is keep yourself a little hungry, assuming you're still not sensing that signals right now. Just keep yourself a little hungry. So assuming you have an appetite for 3 rotis, just eat 2 and stop. Automatically what will happen is your stomach will get tuned to it. Your stomach is so small, like a fist, and it is made of an elastic material like a balloon. Okay, so when you put stuff in, technically if it is a fist size, it will satisfy in 2 or 3 rotis. But what we have done, the things that we like, we have eaten it more and expanded it. Okay, now it is not satisfied with 3 rotis. Okay, so now for it to come back to its original size, we need to start doing this. One, listen to our body signals, and two, keep ourselves a little hungry. All right. Yeah. Now, if I have taken this example, which is on the screen, the pav bhaji and the lokki sabji, is most of us like the pav bhajis more, or any tasty, nice, spicy food more, and the lokki sabji, which for us is like a bland food, less. And what we do is, the example of like and dislike, what I was giving you, is we will eat only 2 rotis when it comes to this lokki ka sabji or tinde ka sabji, and we will eat 3-4 pavs with the pav bhaji. Okay, so now we have to create a balance. Okay, We have to decide for ourselves that if we are eating 2 rotis with the lauki ka sabji and we are going to be good, we are only going to eat 2 pav with the pav bhaji and be good as well. So this is the way you can keep a track of your portion size and you can eat the right portions. Now, what is the effect of eating in right portions on immunity? The first effect is that fat depositions become less. Okay, so the moment you start eating in proportion, extra fat, as I said, anything extra in calories is stored as fat. So the extra fat will never build up because it doesn't have anything extra. You've just given it enough for that particular time and your body has utilized everything. So there's nothing to be stored as fat. When there's nothing to be stored as fat, there'll be no layers of fat in your body. Also, all our organs are covered with a layer of fat, which we call as the visceral fat. Now, this visceral fat, when the percentage of this increases, the organ starts compromising. The organ functioning starts compromising. To give you an example here, I'm sure everybody's heard about fatty liver syndrome, which is very common these days. In this, what happens? Your liver becomes a little inflamed and it's not able to release bile sufficiently, because of which the cholesterol is not digested. Okay, and hence you will be high on your lipids. It could be any lipids for that matter then. Okay, so why is this so? Because we have overall increased our obesity. So automatically, when you start eating in portions, start eating on time, the fat reduces, and this visceral fat layer, the organ fat layer, also reduces and helps the organ to work to its optimum. The second example is, you must have seen people getting blockages in the heart. What is that? Nothing but the bad fats. Okay. So when you want the organ to work to its optimum, please control on your portion as well. Also, the body temperature gets imbalanced. Okay, if you've seen, I've observed many a times that people who are a little chubby or a little fat or have fat deposits for that matter don't feel cold so fast. They have a nice warm body temperature, and this nice warm body temperature is a ground for the bacteria to thrive. Have you seen the curd? When we put little bacteria inside it or little curd inside it and we leave it in a warm environment, it becomes curd faster. Why? Because the bacteria have multiplied fast. Similarly, in an environment cozy like this, where the fats are high and the temperature of the body is little warmer, the bacteria viruses grow faster. So if you want a good immunity, you need to control on your fats as well. Okay, now a third step. We've covered 2 steps to right eating, time and portion size. Now the third step to right eating will be nutritionally balanced meal. When I tell you that you must eat in right portions, you must eat the right thing. So the choice is important, right? So nutritionally balanced meals, otherwise you will be undernourished. So as we all know in class 1 science, that we all need carbohydrate, protein, fat, water, minerals, vitamins, everything for a balanced diet. But our Indian diet typically comprises more of the fat and the sweets rather than the vegetables and fruits, ideally, right? Now, this carbohydrate, what function does it have? Carbohydrate gives you energy. It gives energy to the cells as well. Protein does the muscle building for you. So it builds up the muscles and makes you more lean, makes you more stronger. Fat also gives you energy. Water is necessary for all the functioning of the body because 70% of the body is water. It is essential for detoxifying your body. It performs a lot of functions in the body, digestion, digestion, all of this. And minerals for our bones, for our skin, for our hair, for our eyes. So vitamin and minerals perform that function. Okay. Now, how can you formulate at your home a nutritionally balanced meal? What are the tips that you must take to form a nutritionally balanced meal? Consciously, you must include one item from the food group that I've told you. So let's take an example. If you have to formulate a breakfast which is wholesome, okay? So in the breakfast, when I tell you, you take a glass of milk, okay, you can add turmeric to it, and you can take a bowl full of poha, okay? Now, this milk that you have is protein and good fat. The poha that you have is the cereal, which is the carbohydrate. The vegetables that you add in the poha are your vitamins and minerals. And you can top it with sprouts if you need. That is an additional amount of protein. Poha does have some amount of protein. but it is high on carbs as well. So if you want to add that extra punch of protein in every meal that you eat, you can top it with the sprouts. So this becomes very simple, nothing out of the box, but just requires a little thought as to how we are going to plan our day, how we are going to plan a day's meal. Similarly, if you're looking at lunch, okay, you can eat your rotis, you can eat your vegetables, you can eat your salad, you can eat a bowl of dal, and you can eat curd. Now, people who carry tiffins and don't want such an elaborate meal also can formulate one dish meal like a dalia khichdi or a normal masala khichdi or a vegetable pulao. Okay, where consciously you add in one cereal, you add vegetables to it, you add sprouts or dal to it, and you take a lot of salad and also take care of your water, and you're sorted. So there's no rocket science to nutritionally balanced meals. Okay. You have to add color to your plate. Okay. So for any layman, sometimes people say, oh, it's too difficult for me to remember all this. And I just don't know what is carbohydrate, what is protein. Just tell me in a simple language, how do I make my meals nutritionally balanced? To make your meals nutritionally balanced, you just need to concentrate on adding colors to your diet. Okay. When I say adding colors, if you have to give an example, if you take millet, okay, they are available in various colors. Ragi is red, bajra is gray, jawar is white, wheat has its own brownish color, rice is white. So consciously include that. Then vegetables and fruits, they are so colorful. Include all the seasonal varieties, right? So this is the way you can add color to your diet. Please eat seasonal. Okay, seasonal fruits, vegetables, millets, they have lot of nutrients and they are absorbed better in your body. All right. Eat vegetable in good quantity. I have seen so many people, so many teenagers, when I call for their food diary on WhatsApp, I tell them, please click pictures and send me. And when they send me, I'm so depressed to see only so much vegetable in the plate. You must technically be eating at least 100-150 grams of vegetable when you want that glowing skin and good hair, because that is where your vitamins, minerals are coming from, right? Also, get out of your comfort zone. In a lot of houses, I have seen kakadi, tomato as salad, and people eventually get bored with it and stop eating salads. Okay, so experiment with stir fries. Now, if you want more details on this, you can log on to my YouTube channel. The link is on every slide. Okay, where we have curated recipes with something like kale, something like Swiss chard, which we don't usually use it, but they are, they are powerhouses of nutrients. So how to use them, right from the selection to the cutting to how you can use them in your diet, we've elaborated it completely in our videos. So you can definitely check that out. And for regular updates as well on our Instagram, because I always I'm on this mission, basically how we can make diet food tasty and palatable for our palate. Okay, so please get out of the comfort zone, go to the market, read about new foods, try them, experiment them in the way your family likes it, and I'm sure it's going to be great, and you will not need anybody for this nutritional deficiency. Okay, and eat in moderation, as I said. So time is important, quantity is important, the portion. Also, eating in moderation doesn't mean again that you're going to be undernourished. So you eat in moderation, but complete your nutrition. Then we go to our fourth point, which is very, very important: right choices. Okay, we all know that we are what you eat. Okay, so you are what you eat, basically. If you put in junk, you're going to get that output. If you put in good food, you're going to get that output, right? So if you want a really good body, really active body, mentally alert body, you need to minimize junk. Now, this is a very big controversy here. When people come to me, they say, oh, you're going to make me eat boiled food. And the food dietitians give is not very healthy. It's not very tasty. It's just healthy. And it's not so. You can always make your food with less oil, less sugar, as tasty as you want, because we can add all the spices, we can use all the vegetables. You can create all the recipes that you like personally, right? So there is nothing like having, a boring food or a boring platter when it comes to diet food. Okay, minimizing junk for me is that outside food, the colas, the refined flour. So it could be curry, toast, biscuits, breads on a regular basis. Just about that. Nothing more than that. And also the quality of the fat. Now, assuming you eating, let's take an example of a batata vada from outside. Okay. The oil that they used is palm oil, which is like the third grade quality because it has trans fat in it, it has saturated fat in it, and because of which you are going to have an effect on your heart. Okay. And that is fried time and again. So 10 times the vadas, have actually been, so it's refried again and again, which is again going to make the quality of the oil worse. Okay. So when you're talking about minimizing junk, I'm talking about making things at home, simple as that. And sometimes when you want to eat outside, please order from a good joint. Right now during the lockdown, I'm seeing home bakers that have come up. They use real good quality stuff and bake cakes for you, bake cookies for you. So you can actually, and you can go to them, support them, and also order things from them. That's going to be a better idea rather than getting it from somewhere which produces in bulk but compromises on the quality. Okay. Now, how can you revamp your kitchen? I always feel that a person will eat what is there in their kitchen shelves and fridge. So if you have healthy stuff there, you are going to eat healthy, right? So how can we revamp it? Quick swaps that we can do. Replace your normal ghee. It could be the dalda ghee, it could be the buffalo ghee, it could be the outside ghee with homemade cow's ghee. Trust me, there is nothing better quality than a homemade cow's ghee. Just take, and if you want a recipe for that, again, you can log on to the YouTube channel. I have given an in detail recipe as to how you can make cow's ghee at home very, very easily without any fuss. Okay. Then replace refined oils with cold pressed oils if possible. If not, a good filtered oil will also do. Okay. Replace white sugar with jaggery. You can replace it with honey as well. You can replace it with natural stevia leaves as well. But please kick that refined sugar out of your kitchen. Replace tur dal. Now, I've seen a lot of families having only tur dal in the lunch. So what you can do is just a quick fix. Take this tur dal, mix it with 3, 4 other dals in equal quantities, keep it in the dabba. Every day use the dal from that dabba, right? Also, replace outside fried snacks. So I was giving you the example of the batata vada. So same way, outside snacks are also fried in that quality oil only. That is why they stay longer also. If you've observed anything that you get from outside, your chaklis, your saves, anything that is fried, which you get from outside, stays longer, doesn't smell. Why? Because palm oil has that thing. It doesn't get rancid very fast. And if you make that at home, the shelf life is lesser, but the quality is much good. Okay. Now, what does these choices have to do with immunity? Okay. It increases the nutritional value of the food clearly. If you're eating good food, the nutrients in that are intact and they are all going to be absorbed by your body. So you're going to get definitely more nutrients than you would get from a low quality food product. And as I said, absorbability is better. The body has this absorbing factor. So basically, all the nutrients now are not necessary that a person may be eating spinach every day, but still be low on iron levels. Okay. Why? Because it's not absorbed in the body. Okay. So absorbability is equally important, and that comes in good quality food. Right. Now we finished step 1 of your building immunity, which was right eating. Now we go to step 2, which is superfoods, which is again a step to building immunity. As the name suggests, super. It's like a superpower that you get, or Superman that you become, by eating these foods. So now why the name superfood? Superfood is basically when you eat little portion, but you get a lot of nutrients. Okay, that is why the name superfood. Now, we all know that the medical facilities and the healthcare professionals have emphasized on vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B complexes, and zinc as a vital vitamins and minerals for fighting corona. Okay, but when you eat these superfoods, they are not only going to give you these. Along with that, they're going to give you more protein, iron, other vitamins and minerals like calcium, which are important for building up your immunity and helping you to recover corona much faster. Now, why the superfoods? Okay, I was telling you about this alkaline medium. When we were talking about time of eating, I was discussing about acidic environment in the body and alkaline environment. Now, if you eat alkaline food, your body is going to become alkaline. Okay. Now, superfoods are alkaline in nature. Now, if you see here, the neutral pH is 7. Okay. And the blood pH is also towards alkaline. So anything above 7 is alkaline, anything below 7 is acidic. Okay, so now here when you see your stomach acids for digestion require, have to be acids, right? So they are acidic in medium, but your blood and alkaline water, they are alkaline in medium. So now what is the importance of alkaline body? Alkaline body helps to regenerate your cells. Okay, the cells which are dead, not functioning properly, are all regenerated when your body's medium becomes alkaline. Okay, and how it will become alkaline? Through these superfoods, through alkaline foods, which we will discuss in a while now, and by adhering to the right eating habits, right time of eating, right portion, all of that, right? So again, talking about the effects of alkaline medium on your body, your cells regenerate. Okay, so they become really nice and live. Okay, they perform its duties to the optimum. So your body starts performing digestion, assimilation, absorption, egestion, all those duties to its optimum. All right, your muscle doesn't degenerate. So muscle wasting doesn't happen if your body's medium is alkaline. If it is acidic, you may see muscle wasting as well. All right. And last but not the least, you will be healthy forever if your body's medium is alkaline, because all the disease factors arise from an acidic body. So as I was discussing, the pathogens thrive very well in the acidic body. They multiply faster in that. So you will keep yourself at bay from all the diseases, all the chronic conditions, if you keep your body alkaline, right? So now let's look at the list of superfoods. It's very easy to memorize the superfoods. Okay, if you stay with me, don't look at the slide, just stay with me. Okay, lemons and melons. Lemons, we all know what lemon is. Melons, musk melon, watermelon, all kind of melons. Okay, nuts and seeds. We know nuts, we know cashew nut, almond, walnut, pistachio, all kind of nuts basically. Okay, and pine nuts. Okay, and seeds, we are talking about chia seeds, we are talking about sunflower, safflower, whatever seeds you know about. Okay, so lemons and melons, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables. If you just know this list, you are sorted, because all these are going to be your alkaline foods as well as your superfoods. Now, talking about an intensive list, if you see on the screen, fruits, I have mentioned kiwi, mango, dragon fruit, guava, avocado, muskmelon, amla. Okay, because they are the ones, even if you eat the small kiwi, you're going to get a lot of nutrients. So that is why the list is mentioned. Similarly, grains and legumes, jawar, bajra, nachni, corn, so all millets, makhana and sprouts. Okay. Milk and milk products, curd, paneer, whey. Whey is the water of paneer, and milk. Vegetables, spinach, kale. If you don't know what kale is, you can see it on Google. You can also see it in my videos how we can cook them. Cabbage, radish, carrots. Nuts and seeds, I told you, chia seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, dates, almonds, walnuts, figs, apricots. So nuts, dry fruits, and seeds. Okay, all of them are super duper super houses, powerhouses of nutrients. Spices. Now, this is very important. I want to address this. India saw the recovery rate. The recovery rate in India for corona was much faster. And when they were actually viewing our diet, they actually emphasized that we were a spice eating country. Okay. Now, spices, right from turmeric, garlic, cloves, cinnamon, ginger, cumin, coriander, anise seeds, cardamom, all kind of spices are helpful to build up your immunity. But what have we been doing? In the name of immunity, we've been drinking kadhas 5 times in a day. We've been drinking ginger water. We've been drinking turmeric throughout the day. That is making our body acidic in return. And we know that acidic body is not great, because it's not able to keep up to that immune levels and doesn't let your body function to the optimum, right? So eat spices, but in limit. Doesn't mean that if you're drinking 4 times in a day turmeric water, your immunity is more than others. Just drink 1 glass of turmeric milk or turmeric latte that you like. You can add cinnamon to that. Throughout the day, drink lemon and mint water as a detox water if you want. Okay. In your tea, you can add certain spices. In your dals, you can add certain spices, and you're sorted. You are still protected and immune to certain things. So please remember that spice is to be used in moderation, and if you use in moderation, your body doesn't become acidic. All right. Now, things to remember with these superfoods are that eat in the correct form. Okay. So when you eat the superfoods in the correct form, as I said, that some things are to be taken raw, like water soluble vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin B, they're water soluble. So if you cook them, you're not going to get the benefit of vitamin C, assuming you take amla or guava, which is rich in vitamin C, and you cook them in the form of guava jam or in the form of amla murabba, it's over. You need to take them raw. Similarly for sprouts, they are rich in B complex, but please take them raw. Okay. Plan your day's diet to include consciously one of the superfood from each food group. Okay. In the entire day, we are eating rotis, which could be of millets. We are eating vegetables, which could be one among those. We are eating fruits, which can be 2 to 3 servings, right? So this way, if you plan your day consciously, keeping in mind the list of superfood, you will never be deficient of the superfood, right? Increasing iron levels are also equally important to maintain your oxygen levels. Oxygen has been going low in patients now. So to maintain the oxygen level, otherwise also your iron levels are very, very important. If you want to know more about, since I have a shortage of time, I'm referring to a lot of videos there because I've done a lot of in-depth videos on my channel. So I have done iron and vitamin C. What is the relation? How iron can be better absorbed? What are the recipes, iron-rich recipes? So you can go to the YouTube channel and check it, okay, which is in detail how we must cook them. All right. Also, you must keep a track of vitamin D and B12 levels, which is very, very important. Vitamin D for vegetarians is a challenge, I know, but still, if you take good amount of milk, we have seen a lot of things. We can take fortified cereals, we can take fortified attas, okay, for vegetarians. And B12 also, please eat your fruits and vegetables fresh, because B complexes, any of the B complexes are all volatile. They are sensitive to heat and light. Okay, so you take them raw, fresh, and I'm sure you'll be able to maintain your B12 levels. And consistency is the key, don't forget. So you have to be consistent in doing everything. Otherwise, if you do it one day and you are going to kind of leave it for the other days, it's all over. So consistent effort, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it has to be a routine. Then you will definitely see a very nice, immune, strong body. Now, when we talk about the step-by-step building procedure to build immunity, how do we actually take all these steps towards a healthy lifestyle in our busy schedule? What can be done? Okay. First, keep your body alkaline, which is very easy to do. How do you do it? Just start your day with a vegetable juice. What kind of juices you can prepare? You can prepare carrot beetroot juice, you can prepare dudhi amla juice, you can just take any vegetable that you like and prepare a juice, basically beetroot juice only. Okay, so just take a vegetable raw and put in the juicer and you're sorted. If you want to know what kind of juices I have, again, I have done this on YouTube, I think, for this winter foods, what kind of juices I use. You can definitely see that as well as a recipe, but technically you can take all vegetables. Okay, keep alarms, very important. Time of eating should be maintained, because if you are again not eating on time, acidity, bloating, indigestion, it's a vicious cycle. So you must keep alarms, definitely. Include these in the diet consciously. Now, whole grains, you can formulate different kind of attas and keep in your house. Okay. Again, we can make gluten-free atta, we can make high protein atta, we can make, so if you want to know the combinations of the atta, we've made a video on that as well, what combinations you can actually make. Okay, but having a mixed atta has its own benefits. Why? Because it's going to be high on protein, it's going to be it's going to actually cover everything, so assuming ragi has calcium and bajra has good fats, it's going to be a combination of everything, so it's going to be a wholesome meal all in all. Okay, so please include whole grains in your diet without fail. Fruits, vegetables, and salads, at least 3 to 4 servings in a day. You have to include. How to include it? After breakfast, you can keep 1 serving of fruits there. Then you can have your lunch. Post lunch, when you're having your snack, there you can include your whole grains. Pre dinner, you can include 1 fruit. And in your main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can include lot of vegetables. Okay. Nuts and seeds. When you talk about nuts and seeds, again, that can form a mid-meal snack. You can carry it in small Ziploc pouches and always keep it in your laptop bag or keep it in your purse, whatever you're carrying basically to office, because they don't get spoiled. And if you have it, you're going to eat it. You can also resort to nut bars. We are launching this wholesome nut bars very soon. And also what is available in the market, please check on the sugar, fat, before you actually take them, because that is very important. You can't keep piling sugar in the bars or nutrition bars that you're eating. So they have to be low on sugar, low on fat. All right. So you can, or you can directly eat nuts and seeds. As I said, make a packet, carry it to your workplace. All right. Sprouts. Again, many people find it very difficult to incorporate this because they forget soaking it, they forget sprouting it. So what you can do is you can kind of, do it in bulk. So take the sprouts that you want of your choice, mix them, because that is going to be a good quality protein. As every one sprout or every one pulse, if you take, has a limiting amino acid. So basically, it has only certain amino acids, which is the protein building block. Okay. If you combine all those, you're going to get a complete protein. Okay. So combine the sprouts of your choice, the pulses of your choice, sorry, soak them. After soaking them, keep them for sprouting. Okay. Now, once this is done, fill Ziplocs of the portion that you want to eat every day. Keep those Ziplocs in the freezer and you are sorted. Every day, pick up one Ziploc and take it along with you and eat it. All right. Then you can concentrate on your water as well. Some people say we forget to drink water. Please keep water bottles, okay, to give you the hang of how much water you've had throughout the day. Or if you don't like plain water, you can make flavored water. You can make detox water. You can have this soft water, which is very good during this heat time. It will help you to combat the heat. All right. Now coming to the last segment of where we finish the food part of it, and which is very important now, is the exercise part of it. So exercise, as we all know, is very, very important. Only diet doesn't help. Exercise is equally important. So not only physical, but I'm going to talk about mental exercises as well, because in this time, what we really need is mental stability, right? Okay, so when we talk about physical exercises, what is the benefit of physical exercises? It increases your BMR. We have usually heard this term BMR. What is BMR? Nothing but your calorie consumption rate. So basically, in your body, if your BMR is high, it means that you can digest a lot of calories. Okay, if the BMR is high. If the BMR is low, you cannot digest those many calories. Simple as that. And how can you increase your BMR? By exercise. There is no shortcut to it. Okay. So assuming person who is becoming obese day by day, what is the problem will be that his BMR is low, but his consumption is high. That is one possibility. There are a lot of other possibilities, hormones, a lot of things that we check. But one possibility is that his BMR is low and he is consuming extra calories, which is going to be stored as fat. All right. Second, physical exercises help you to detoxify. So all your oxidative stress, everything from the body, all kind of toxins to come out through your urine, sweat, and also there is a lot of chemical breakdown that happens, and our body actually becomes very pure and detoxified. Have you seen the glow that you get after this nice round of exercise? That's because your body is actually getting rid of the toxins. It increases the oxygen supply to your cells. So when you want to really improve the oxygen levels of your body, exercise is a must. So not only good food, but along with good food, if you have this physical exercise, it is going to do the job 100%. Okay. Improves flexibility. As we age, we know, everything starts paining. We can't move, we can't lift, we can't do anything. So if you want to increase the endurance and stay young forever, start including basic exercises in your routine. Which are those? I will cover in the next slide, which you can easily do at home and still remain flexible, healthy, and fit. It reduces acidity of the body. So good, we want an alkaline body. So you must exercise for an alkaline body. It reduces inflammation, swelling, and gastric trouble. So if you have extra water retention, some people when they wake up in the morning, all this is swollen up, their face is swollen up during PCOD, etc. So it helps if you do an exercise on a regular level, a regular basis, it's going to help you get rid of all these problems. Now, what kind of exercise should we do? And which can, now gyms are closed, obviously. And we also get scared to step out because of the scenario. So assuming, now what I recommend is you take each body part. So assuming you're taking your head and neck, okay? Now, very simple. You can just do this side bends. You can just, put your hands as in the picture you can see, just try to join your hands behind. It may not happen on the first day, but later, as you're doing it every day, it will start happening, right? Again, you can do this shoulder shrugs, very easy. These are, and assuming you don't have these slides as well, just go to YouTube and type head and neck exercises at home. You will get 100 different exercises every day. Just what you have to do is do 15 to 20 repetitions of a single body part. Okay, then go to the next body part. Like that, if you want to increase your endurance, your strength of the body, you keep increasing the repetitions. So you did 15, then you one set of 15 exercises, again do a second set of 15 exercises, third set of 15. Like that, you can increase your endurance. Okay, but to start with, just get started with 10 to 15 of any of the exercises and start with the entire body, so starting with your head and neck. Then we go to the shoulder and chest. So if you have a bench at home and you have a simple rod, you can do these exercises with that rod. You can also order resistant bands, which are available on Amazon, and do with resistant bands. You can also use the floor or your yoga mat and just do simple push-ups. Okay, simple things, simple exercises, but they're going to help you tone up and remain flexible. Then back exercises again. So you can lie down on your tummy and exercise your back. People who have a lot of backaches should do these exercises every day. And trust me, you will see magic happening within 7 days. You'll see that the aches have actually gone. Because what is an ache? Basically, it's either the inflammation or either the acid that is accumulated there, or it's lack of flexibility. All this will be covered when you start doing the exercises, right? Abdomen, we all want flat tummies, isn't it? So doing those abs, doing those crunches, doing those lower tummy exercises are all going to be helpful. And as I said, don't worry about the form. Just go to YouTube the day you are in the mood of doing the exercise. I would say you must do it every day. And if you're doing it every day, just type, you will get one thing coming up. Just follow that. Simple. Legs. You can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do side raises to get rid of the love handles. Okay. Now, as much as I said, the physical exercises are important, so is the brain exercise. Now, just one thing I like to emphasize, have you seen that depression cases are increasing after this corona? So from last year and now what you're seeing, we've never heard so many depression cases. Why do you think this is happening? This is happening because we always are used to seeing and finding our happiness in someone else. We are not used to going inside our body and searching and trying to and learning to be happy. We've always, okay, what my child is doing, what my husband is doing, what my friends are doing, we've always been together. That's about it. The day you went in isolation, you realize that you can be happy with your own self as well. And that many people have not realized, and there the depression cases have arisen. The second problem is fear. Okay, we all have some kind of fears, agreed, but we cannot be that fearful. If we're listening to the news, we feel, oh my god, we'll get corona, or listening to some WhatsApp messages, looking at the videos, we get depressed. So please remove fear out of your life, because whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You will have to face it. But if you are going to be fearful, it's going to get more critical, because when you fear, you're actually inviting that, and your brain works in a typical pattern. I'll tell you how. Okay, to train your brain, you have to remember one thing. It works in a specific pattern. It doesn't obey negative commands. Now, I just want to do one simple exercise. Close your eyes and do not think about a samosa. Please close your eyes and please do not think about or see a samosa at all. And I'm sure 80% of the people have seen their samosa. Why? Because your brain doesn't obey the negative command. It doesn't understand do not. Okay. And you are what you eat, we all know, but you are what you think also. because 80% of your physical ailments come from your mental stuff. So there's this very good book. I think it's by Louis Hay, where she's described why the physical psychology is important for the physical body. So assuming people who have thyroid, okay, she believes, and I have also done a lot of, after reading the book, I've also done a lot of, I keep asking people, why do you think, what is your nature? And I've come to know that they are not able to voice their opinions. So people who have got thyroid, please analyze for yourself. Is it so that you're not able to voice your opinion? If that is so, work on that. Automatically your thyroid glands will also start responding to it. Okay, I'm sorry about the noise, but there's work going on in my building. Okay, so you will attract what you think. So if you attract fearful thoughts, you're going to get that. If you attract positive thoughts, you're going to get that. If you give negative thoughts, you're going to get that. Okay, so these are the simple ways you can treat your brain. So don't be fearful, think positive. We all are in this situation and we are going to get out of this soon. And think of this as an opportunity to do something which you like. All the time you were so busy, you didn't have the time. So think of this as an opportunity that you've got. Okay, what are the mental exercises that we can adapt to? Solving puzzles, it could be Sudoku, it could be any kind of puzzle. Every puzzle, the moment it makes you think, you are exercising your brain. Okay, learning a new language. Language learning requires a lot of focus and dedication, and that is a very, very good exercise for your brain. So you can learn any language, any foreign language also, if you have always wanted to do so. Learning a musical instrument also equally requires concentration and focus, and that is a very good exercise for the brain. Also, music internally heals you, it makes you feel good. Okay, it releases those good hormones. Pursuing a long lost passion. So, as I said, take this as an opportunity and learn what you really always wanted to, and actually put your hands on that. Okay, and remember, there's no age to learning new things. What are the benefits of mental exercises? If we go through it quickly, it improves your blood flow to the brain. Okay, it keeps physical illness at bay. So the more busier you are, the more occupied you are with the right thing, the physical illness automatically is going to disappear. Okay, think positive and you will attract positive. And also it improves your critical thinking, analytical thinking, creative thinking. So all kind of thinkings it is going to kind of uh, tap on. Okay, and it improves your memory and concentration. So it also keeps you mentally alert. So thank you so much for listening to me patiently. And do follow my Instagram, YouTube channel if you want more information. And thank you so much, Tata Housing, for giving me this opportunity to address a beautiful audience like you. Thank you so much.
Wow, what an amazing session this was. I'm literally speechless. I can't tell you how many takeaways I've taken down in my notebook. I have taken down each and every point that Dr. Forum has told us about. So everybody, now it's time for us to do a Q&A session with Dr. Forum. So I hope everybody is ready. Once again to remind you that you have got a ask a question tab on your screen. So please, whatever question you have about immunity, wellness, mental health, you can put in that tab, and from there we'll pick up your questions and we'll take it ahead in our Q&A session. I hope you all are ready. I'm very much ready. So once again, everybody, welcome back on screen, one and only Dr. Forum. Dr. Forum, I must say I have become your fan, and trust me, I'm genuinely saying this. You know, whatever points you've made today in your session, I am never going to forget it. I'm sure my all the audience resonate with what I'm saying just now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And Dr. Forum, you know, you have said one thing very correctly. First thing you said, you are what you eat. And also, then towards the end, you said, you are also what you think. And we should not at all fear. And fear attracts all these diseases, as you said, right? If I'm not wrong.
Right.
So I think, Dr. Forum, you've already talked about superfood, the discipline, what are the, foods that makes your stomach or your system acidic, what you should avoid, everything all together. And I'm really sure that all our audiences out here, everybody out here, are pretty much ready with their questions. So I have here, as we start our Q&A session, I've got one question. So we'll start from that one. So here is that question we have. So someone from the audience is asking, can we take jaggery or honey, which are considered natural sweeteners? How much we like, or there is a portion to it too. So like what amount of jaggery or honey they should take to make anything sweet? What do you suggest?
So jaggery and honey are natural sweeteners. Okay, but again, they have calories to it. And as we said, nothing extra is actually acceptable by the body. So we should definitely have a portion to it. If you ask me, 2 to 3 teaspoons, if you kind of keep it for the entire day, should be good, which you can use it for your tea, coffee, and other drinks.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you so very much. So I think everybody, you've got your answer, whosoever has asked that question. Now, the next question we have is from Sanket Kolikar, and he's asking, kindly guide that how to reduce weight and suggest diet plan. What is one best piece of nutritional advice you can give? Dr. Forum, this is for
I
you.
can't give one, yeah. So I can't give one best piece of nutritional advice because obesity, as I said, is actually the root cause of all the diseases. So when we have to treat the root cause, we need to really look into a lot of aspects as to why a person is obese. What is actually making him obese? Is it his lifestyle? Is it some medical condition? Is it some hormonal issue? Once we know what the problem is through a blood test or something, then we look into the lifestyle, his likes and dislikes, and we plan a formal diet for him. And there are regular follow-ups that happen. So follow-up is the key, I feel. We all know what is the right diet. Today, in short, I have explained you a lot of things which even if you start doing on regular basis, you're going to benefit.
Okay.
But when you talk about the follow-up part of it, is something where we all kind of let it go. Okay, we did for 2 3 days, then some parties come up, birthdays come up, and again it's all forgotten. So consistency, I think, if I had to say something, I think whatever you take up, consistently do it, and you will definitely have results there.
You've got your answer, Sanket, right? Okay. So there's one more question we have, and the question is Chyawanprash helpful in immunity building? Now, this is one question I think everybody wants to know. So, in the
Right.
commercial ads, what they say, you have to take Chyawanprash, and Chyawanprash builds your immunity. So trust me, since the childhood, I have heard this so many a times that if you eat Chyawanprash, you're going to be really strong and healthy. So don't stop eating Chyawanprash. What do you have to say on that?
So Chamanprash, first and foremost, is loaded with sugar. One.
Oh,
Second, amla. They use amla, okay, 80% of the time. And as I said, vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, and we are cooking that chawanprash. It's not made without cooking, obviously. So you're
okay,
not getting the vitamins clearly. Okay. What
okay,
is added externally except of these two is other spices. Now, those spices are good for your health. Okay. As long as you're
okay,
taking in moderation, spices are good.
okay,
But
okay.
along with the spices, we don't need to take something which is not really good for our health. So if you really are keen on eating a Chyawanprash, make it at home with less sugar, maybe, or no sugar at all. And then it should be a harmless product to eat.
So you are suggesting that we can bake Chyawanprash at home also?
Yeah, we can. So there
Really?
are so many, yeah, there are so many, trust me, there are so many recipes. There are so many people who are in this, to change this entire cooking process. So we can definitely make it. If you don't want to make it at home, at least don't eat the sugary version that is available outside.
Okay, so you are saying that if any one of us wants to have Chyawanprash, we should choose the low sugar one or the no sugar one.
No sugar one, yeah.
No sugar one.
There is nothing like low sugar. It's no
There's nothing
sugar.
like no sugar. Okay. Is that a myth? The low
Yeah,
sugar thing?
yeah, 100%. You
Oh,
check the
oh, now
percentage. Sometimes check the labels. And you'll
Okay.
get to know what I'm saying, you know, it's nothing like low.
Oh, now we know. Now we know. So yes, I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to hear you today. Thank you so much once again. Okay. So another question that we have here is Sangeeta. Okay, Sangeeta asks, Doctor, I'm suffering from hypothyroidism. I think that's what the word is.
Yeah.
What diet should I follow? Also, I'm pregnant, so I cannot avoid few foods which are essential. What do you advise?
So hypothyroidism definitely is a problem, you know, which we see very commonly these days. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there are foods which you should avoid 100%. In that we talk about all the coniferous vegetables. Okay, which are coniferous means cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, spinach, methi. All this we cannot take raw, but we can always cook and take them. So
Okay.
there is no problem there once we cook, and anyways we cook a vegetable, right? Only salads we take raw. So we can
Okay.
cook those vegetables. Okay.
Okay.
You have to keep yourself at bay from all the refined foods. So it could be the maida, the sugars, all of this. So all refined products, the white refined products go out of your list. And
Okay.
also you need to keep a tab on your weight, because in hypothyroidism, the weight increases very fast. So
Oh,
as I said, eat in moderation, but eat a fully nutritionally balanced meal. Then I think there should be no problem.
I think Sangeeta, you have got your answer, right? Okay. Moving on to the next one. Sunil Kumar is asking, my family members have recently recovered from COVID. What eating habits and exercises, both physical and mental, they should follow, as it is reported that such patients would take long time to come back to their normal self. Now, I think this particular the answer to this particular question, everybody must take a note of. You know, so whatever answer Dr. Forum will give, you can share this answer to all of your friends and family around. So please do listen to this carefully. Over to you,
So,
Sunil.
as far as the recovery is concerned, I would definitely tell them to first concentrate on the superfoods and start taking them very consciously in their diet, because that is going to make their bodies alkaline, as I said, which is very important, you know, to recover faster. Second, when we talk about eating habits, definitely they should be low on fat, in moderation, but full of nutrients. So, as we are talking about superfoods, this covers it all. It could be a ragi porridge, or it could be say, you know, anything, any normal poha also. But as I told, you know, how can make it nutritionally dense basically. So assuming a poha with sprout and vegetable is a complete meal. If your roti, so your rotis can be jawar, bajra, ragi, anything of that sort. Your evening snack can be makhanas, so that is one of the superfood. Okay, it could be sprout bhel, that is again a superfood. It could be nuts and seeds, which is a superfood. So plan your day on the basis of this, as what tips I gave you today in the seminar, and also include alkaline foods, superfoods consciously. Drink a lot of water, because you need that to actually detox all the toxins. And when you talk about exercise, as I said, even if they are aged, they can follow these basic exercises at home: the neck rotation, the head rotation, the abs. So whatever we were discussing during the seminar, definitely. And mental exercises also I have laid emphasis on. So they can definitely keep doing that. But superfoods will be the key. Try to include them consciously.
All right. So Sunil Kumar, you've got an answer. Superfoods are the key. So I think the question you've asked, the answer is superfoods, right? Okay. Moving on to the next one. And next one is from Shailesh. Shailesh is asking, how harmful or useful are biscuits for consumption?
Okay. Biscuits are like fried puris, you know, because the fat percentage of a puri, which you fry at home, and normally you say, oh my God, it's fried, I'm going to eat less, is equivalent to a biscuit which is baked. Because baking, when you actually talk about baking as a process, you require fat. Without fat, your biscuits won't turn out crisp.
Okay.
So the fat that they use, the quality of fat, which a commercial biscuit brand, a 10 rupee packet or a 20 rupee packet would use, would definitely not be the high quality. And on the packets, they write refined wheat flour, which is maida. So we are paying money to eat maida with lot of sugar and with third grade quality fat.
Oh, now we know.
So
Look at this, doctor. You know, these are very, very important things that we always ignore. So we always just buy any product looking at the ad commercial. We see the fancy ad and we end up buying any of the products. But now, after talking to you, I really realized that anytime I think of buying any other product like biscuits or chips or whatever, I should literally read on the ingredients. So
Right.
I think everybody, this is a very important thing, that we should read the ingredients before buying any packed or processed food. Right. Okay, ma'am. So moving on to the next one. So here is one question from Lavina. Lavina is asking, so doctor, I'm asking this for my son. He is 13 years, but he is 27 kgs. He looks very thin. How can I make him little fat? Otherwise, he is healthy. So she wants her son to be little healthy. Wow,
Yeah.
I love this question, because otherwise we used to, yeah, I'm very used to listen to, other side.
Reverse.
They
Yeah.
generally ask how to lose weight. Now this is the question it's
Right.
asking about gaining weight. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, gaining weight when you talk, see, you definitely cannot feed your child extra fat. Okay. What you can feed the child to be internally strong is the protein. So, here, protein will be the key. Protein in every meal. So, right from your breakfast to your lunch to your dinner. What are protein groups, if I have to say? It will be your dals, your pulses, your sprouts, your nuts, your seeds, your milk, and milk products. This you will get very easily, this information you get very easily anywhere. What are the sources of protein? And if you are a non vegetarian, very good. Then you can include eggs, which is a complete protein. You can include chicken, but try to include chicken leg piece, because other chicken parts are more on the fattier, so high fat side. Okay. Then you can include all freshwater fishes. Okay. So these are like the complete protein. But if you're talking about the vegetarian one, you have to mix and match. So you have to take two, three dals together to have a complete protein, or mix a dal and a cereal together to have a complete protein. But consciously include that protein in all your meals. And I'm sure that the child starts building the lean mass with this. So though he may not look fat, but he may internally build that muscle up.
Lavina, so you've got your answer. Proteins is your answer, right?
Right.
Okay, so moving on. So next question we have from Ashutosh. And Ashutosh is asking, is curd harmful in our diet when we are suffering from illness? So, yes.
Yeah.
So, we
So
should.
curd is something which is very controversial for two, three things, because the moment it gets sour, okay, we normally make curd at home. And in summers, if you see, if you leave curd outside, it becomes sour. So we normally have to refrigerate it. Now, the moment the temperature of the curd changes, some people, it does not suit some people, and they catch cold because of that. So the cold and cough starts, accumulating in the body. Also, if it is very sour, the body, it becomes acidic for us internally. So the body environment becomes acidic. Okay. So what you have to really take care while making curd is make fresh curds. One, put very less, curd seedling to it so that it doesn't get very sour. The moment you, assuming you want to eat it in lunch, so just make it in early in the morning or late at night, so that you get fresh curd for lunch. Again, you want to eat it for dinner, make it fresh in the afternoon, you can eat it for dinner. So if you eat fresh curd without refrigeration, there is no problem whatsoever. Still, there are some people who feel that at night curd doesn't suit me. For so those people, you can also take milk with turmeric or something for the milk group to add on to the diet. And you can take curd once in a day, which could be your breakfast and lunch. Because curd has good bacteria for your gut, and it is very, very important to include curd in your diet.
Very important. So, doctor, is it like we should have curd only in the morning and not in the evening, or only in the evening, not in the
So
morning?
it's very personal, As I said, there are some people
Hmm.
who cannot tolerate it at night. They could get
Okay.
wheezing, they could get cough, they could get cold. So if you are one of those, you can avoid. But there's no written rule as to curd is harmful at night.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And to add more to this, I have one more little question that is from my side. I love buttermilk. So I can have buttermilk throughout the day. But there are some people who have told me that, Yoma, you should not have buttermilk in the night. So what do you have to say on that?
Same. So buttermilk curd, same sister brothers. Basically,
Oh,
just added
okay.
water to it.
Oh,
So
okay.
if it suits you, no harm. If it
No.
doesn't, you can have it for breakfast and lunch and avoid it for dinner. Instead, you can take the milk source.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So we have one more question here. Sukant. Sukant is asking, what about formulations like Neutralize?
Uh, what's that? Neutralize? If we can emphasize more.
I have no idea about that.
As much as I'm understanding, it's Neutralite, which is a protein.
Yeah, actually, he has by mistakenly, I think this is Neutralite. I think Neutralite is the one. I think so, yeah.
So, see, I don't want to criticize any brand here, but I feel that all the vitamins, minerals, all the food stuff, food nutrients should come from food. Why should I take some pill to have it, you know? So if I am following a right regime of eating, I am getting all my nutrients and I don't need to resort to anything artificial. So everything which is coming in a pill form is artificial at the end of the day. And I prefer natural. So everything that comes from food is going to be natural.
Oh, so as you said about this, so you would, do you want to say this, that we should avoid taking all the tablets? Like people say, take vitamin C, people take zinc in a tablet and different things through a tablet, right? So do you want to say we should avoid that?
Yeah, as much as possible, if your diet is sufficient, you will not require anything else. So try to invest
Dr. Forum, can you hear me?
In the food that you eat rather than investing. There was a lag. Yeah, it's good now. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we are pretty much done with the Q&A session with Dr. Forum. And Dr. Forum, I must say it was indeed an amazing session. So many questions answered. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vyoma. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Bye.